Greetings to all the members of the SDSP who are watching this. My name is Revel Saw and I'm in Lombok. I'm the landscape manager and ecologist at Tampah Hills. And I met Jan and got involved with the people in Sawinggrai. We made a concept. And I'm going to take you through a whirlwind of what we're doing here in Lombok, just so you can see how we might transfer some of the ideas and things that we're doing here over to Sawinggrai and how they might be applicable. So I hope you enjoy this. It's going to be hard and fast. So thank you very much. The most critical problem for Sawinggrai gardeners in the past has been the incursion of pigs. Since the hunting is reduced, the pigs have become more brave and they come in and they break all the garden, they eat everything. So people have kind of lost hope in being able to plant and harvest what they plant. So we brought this technique from Lombok, which is living fencing. So we're using live poles of species that grow in Sawinggrai. Sometimes we bring in a few extra plants as well. They have this in Sawinggrai, it's called kail kambing, and here it's called banten. We also have moringa, which is a highly nutritious green. The next biggest issue in Sawinggrai is water. So we've instituted some water harvesting plans and techniques. And we have, for the moment, we have plastic tank, but we'd like to expand that to use various cement tanks. This is a 13,000 litre tank, which is built into the ground. Uses very little materials, like some cement mortar, some wire, very durable, easy to fix, and high capacity. Ends up being much, much cheaper than using plastic tanks. One of the issues that was raised with us early on in Sawinggrai was the difficulty of some pests. So while the living fences they protect from the pigs, the other pest was the flying pests, the cockatoos. So we're suggesting we build structures like this, not necessarily out of bamboo, but perhaps out of jungle wood, covered structures using shade net, so that then the birds can't get in. You don't have to harm the birds in any way, it's just a simple exclusion. Out in the open, unaffected by the birds, we can have things like rosella, which is sort of bridges the gap between what's nutritious for the people and also what can be sold. So rosella is makes a very tasty tea, makes excellent jams, which is like an import substitution. It's a very healthy plant. You can eat the leaves, and it's very high in vitamin C and anthocyanins. So we have things like that, and then we have things like eggplants. Very good for the bulk, giving the bulk for food security. And things like butterfly tea, butterfly pea tea, which goes along really well with rosella. It's it's an anti-aging, and it's really good for your blood, full of antioxidants as well. It's really important for the domestic economy that they start to replace some of the things that they're buying in from outside with locally grown produce. Some of the major problems that they have is getting enough chili. They eat a lot of chili, also tomatoes. So there's some of the species we want to focus on first, along with things that give a bit of extra protein, like beans, or things that fill the belly, like cassava, like eggplant, bulky things. Things they can easily grow, they can be taught how to prepare if they're not familiar with them, and they'll be nutritious and acceptable for their cuisine. Part of the biological farming technique is to generate your own mulch, your own carbon, and your own nitrogen on site using plants. So in here we're using different species of mulch grasses. We have lemongrass, we have citronella grass, vetiver grass, and then we use different tree legumes in order to support them and to build up the soil. So in Sawinggrai we'd like to introduce same sorts of systems because there's a shortage of organic matter and a shortage of nitrogen in the soil. There's the main limiting factors in order for the gardens to begin. So mucuna bean is an annual bean, very, very fast growing. And what it tends to do is grow over the top. So you plant it, it grows over the top of all the weeds, smothers all the grass underneath. And then when it starts to flower, you cut it off at the stem and it'll mulch down and form a compost. And this fixes a lot of nitrogen. So we want to use this to help fix the soils in the Sawinggrai garden and produce all this bulk, this nitrogen-rich biomass to improve the poor soils. As we build up the soil and we start to plant crops, we'll inevitably get some pests. So part of the approach is to institute a sort of a biological farming system that includes using a lot of predator and pollinator attracting plants like this cosmos, which is also a vegetable in Java called kinakir, very nutritious. And these will just self-sow themselves and they bring in all the predatory wasps, they bring in the bees. We also grow things like sesame. Sesame is very good for maintaining the predator wasp populations, the things that the predator wasps come and they lay their eggs inside caterpillars. Now if there's no caterpillars around, the population tends to die off. But if you supply them with plants like sesame plants growing around the garden, they're able to use the pollen from the sesame plants to as adults to survive longer, so the population of predators stays higher, keeps everything more in balance. There are so many different species of fruit trees that could grow in Sawinggrai, but we want to focus on the ones that are really going to work well and the ones that will either have good domestic consumption or good for homestays. So for domestic, we have things like sapodilla, which is a sweet fruit. We have longan would do pretty well there. That's quite drought hardy. It's like a lychee, but more drought hardy. And then we're really interested in avocados as well. So we have, we're looking at growing the local avocado and then grow it from seed and then try some grafting. Now, avocado, as you know, has a really good market demand and doesn't travel so well. So being able to grow it locally, you can have a better quality product. I'm here under a trellis that we built using jungle poles and live poles. So live poles cut from the forest, so we plant them and they keep growing. And then we've planted passion fruit over the top of this. As you can see up here, starting to have fruit. So that's about 9 months from when we planted it. So that's a really good crop for the people in Sawinggrai because passion fruit is quite popular with the international visitors. Here we have a dragon fruit. So it's a climbing cactus. So this is very productive with very little water. It's going to be very well suited for Raja Ampat, but it's not currently growing there. So this we planted about 9 months ago or so, very quick, and this is just about ready to start fruiting. So we can grow this either on support structures or we can grow it on the living fences. And this will be very easy for them to maintain, requires very little input, and it's a very saleable fruit for juices or for fresh eating in the homestays. Behind me are some Indian pomegranates. These are fruit that we grew from seed that came in from India. So I think these will do very well in Sawinggrai, especially up on the hill where the soil's very, very thin. You mainly have limestone with a thin soil over the top. So these will suit really well. Now these are going to be good for juice, these are going to be good for fresh eating or for salads. So this is going to be an easy crop for them to grow and adds a sort of a high-end touch if they want to sell it to resorts. It's really important for the food security to have a good range of nutritious greens. Here we have Nigerian spinach. This grows really, really easily and it's very tasty. Over here we have okra, and we have different varieties of what they call gadi. They have a type in Sawinggrai has a broader leaf. This is a different variety. And then behind that we have another one called Tonkin jasmine, which has edible jasmine flowers. They're really delicious. It's a delicacy in Vietnam, and I think it would grow very well in Sawinggrai. I'm very lucky here in Lombok to have a great team. One of the guys I've been working with for the last 7 years is Parman.
Yeah.
And he's an expert in like traditional Lombok organic farming.
Ya. Halo, saya Parman. Saya bekerja sama Farep sudah lama dan saya sangat senang karena beliau selalu mengajar saya untuk membuat video untuk belajar, semua orang bisa belajar untuk sistem pertanian organik, dan kami di sini sudah lama untuk membuat segala macam tanaman, yakni sistem organik. Dari pohon buah sampai sayur dan pohon kayu, semua pohon hutan juga kami menanam. Bahkan untuk penanggulangan erosi kami buat, ya, dan juga untuk aliran-aliran air kami belajar membuat check dam. Ya, itu saja. Terima kasih.
So Parman's very keen on helping us, and we make videos together to educate the local community around here. And we'd really like to use this project as an opportunity to create a series of videos on all the different methods that we use, and then this will stand even once the project is finished. It'll keep on going. It'll be applicable to all the islands across Indonesia where people face the same problems as they do in Sawinggrai. So we've reached the end, and thank you very much for watching it to the end. And yeah, I'd just like to say that this has been so far has been a wonderful project to be involved in, and it's such a bridge building exercise between, you know, traditional Lombok agriculture with traditional Papuan agriculture, and we hope that can continue. And we love the fact that it's very biological based, very ecological based, and yet we're integrating all this modern technology. So, you know, real-time coaching with WhatsApp, using Facebook groups to pull in all the community from Sawinggrai so everyone can see what's going on. You know, making videos, being able to post those on YouTube so that other island communities can see what's going on as well. And we really hope that through this technology that this pilot that we've created, this little garden with the fence, could be the pilot for the larger project that we're trying to establish in Sawinggrai, and that itself is a pilot for other islands. So once we've proven these approaches in the Sawinggrai context, other gardeners in other places will see them, and they're easily replicable because they're all based on appropriate technology. There's nothing fancy. And the pilot itself generates seed and cuttings and the kind of things that are needed to create more gardens. So the garden grows another garden. So we think that there's a lot of potential here, and we hope that you've enjoyed a little walk through our garden. So I'd just like to add a final note. Like, it's really good that we're working through this sort of a traditional system where we have, you know, the traditional like donor system with NGOs putting in money. But I also think that there's a really good opportunity here because, you know, we're going through the social media route, that we could get on board with this crowdfunding thing, and also with edutourism and edutainment, basically. So the things that we do, a lot of people really enjoy watching this stuff. So I think that we should also look into the, you know, opportunities like little sub-projects or mini-projects where, you know, if people want to donate a little bit of a few funds, you know, that little bit of extra money could really make us go further. Like, you know, if people put in like, you know, $10 or $20, that's like we can buy extra fruit trees with that, and it's going to make the gardens get bigger much faster. So, you know, like, I think we should really like allow people to get involved and help us with this, not just rely on the, you know, we have our base funding, you know, concept that we have, but you know, we should think bigger, think outside the box. And so yeah, we're really looking forward to continuing this project, and yeah, we really hope that, you know, the maximum number of people will get benefit from this, you know, going on and on and on, because the same problems that we find in Sawinggrai, the same problems that we find in Lombok, like all the islands in Indonesia, all the remote islands have the same problem. You know, water, wild animals, you know, food security, you know, lack of sophistication with the emerging tourism markets and all that kind of thing. It's just everywhere. So yeah, let's get on with doing this. Thank you very much.